At school, the bell rings, marking the end of the period. A boy turns to his classmate and calls him trash, then orders him to go buy some juice. His friend with him adds that he would like one as well. The boy they are talking to smiles politely and asks if seltzer brand juice will be okay. It's the same routine every day. He is treated like an errand boy, pushed around simply because he is quiet and too easy to command. The sky outside seems as dull and lifeless as he feels, and this has become his everyday life. As he stands up to run the errand, a girl steps in, looking at the boy who gave the order. She asks if he is seriously bullying Hidaka again. She doesn't hold back, pointing out how shameless it is that they are already in high school but still acting like schoolyard bullies. The boy feigns innocence, pretending he doesn't understand what she means. He says that the MC was simply going to buy some juice for him, and that there is nothing wrong with that. Moving closer to our boy, he insists they are just friends after all. His friend nods along, saying Kawauchi has misunderstood, and assures her that everything is fine because they are all best friends. Kawauchi turns to our hero, hoping he will admit how he really feels. She asks him directly to confirm if they are actually his friends. The MC says they are right, and they are not doing anything wrong. Kawauchi sighs, frustrated, and asks again if he is truly okay with this. Our boy glances at her for a moment but then turns away, saying he does not get what she is trying to say. With that, he leaves the classroom, heading out to buy their drinks. There are 4 kinds of people involved in bullying: bystanders, supporters, bullies, and victims. Our hero believes that everyone has a role in the bullying process, no matter where it takes place. But, in reality, most people prefer to think they are not part of it, as if they can ignore their own involvement. Feeling overwhelmed, he heads up to the rooftop, his mind heavy with sadness. He feels completely broken, lost in thoughts of how things turned out this way. Yet, standing up there, he realizes something else. It's not him who is broken. It's the world around him, twisted and uncaring. Taking a last quiet look at everything, he whispers his goodbyes and steps off the edge. For him, it's not exactly that he wants to die. He just can't find a reason to keep living. In his heart, he knows the people around him would not see the difference either way. And so, on this day, Hidaka Masamune's life comes to an end. The MC slowly opens his eyes, hearing someone excitedly shout that they have succeeded. As his vision clears, he looks around and realizes that he is in an unfamiliar place, and somehow, he is still alive. The people around him continue to cheer, talking about how they have finally done it and how they have succeeded in their mission. In the middle of the crowd, a man sits on a grand throne, welcoming the newcomers. He calls them heroes, saying they have finally arrived. Our boy turns his head in surprise at the mention of heroes, only to see that his classmates are standing there too. The man on the throne, the king, introduces himself as Johannes Greyberg, the 47th king of the country of Greyberg. Our hero is taken aback by the king's words, but even more so by the fact that his entire class is here with him in this strange world. Among the group, he spots the boy who used to bully him. The boy glares at him, and the MC quickly looks away, trying to avoid his gaze. The king, noticing their confusion, apologizes for summoning them all so suddenly. He explains that the kingdom of Greyberg has been in a brutal and ongoing war against magical beings for a long time, with no end in sight. The people are desperate for a way to break the stalemate. In their search for a solution, they turn to something called hero summoning, hoping that the summoned heroes would have the powerful abilities needed to turn the tide of the war. Just as the king finishes speaking, the boy who had always bullied the MC interrupts. He raises his voice, saying he does not understand anything about these so-called statuses the king keeps mentioning. He angrily reminds the king that this is nothing but kidnapping. But suddenly, a bright flash of light erupts from nowhere, striking the ground right in front of him. The king remains calm, labeling this mysterious power as magic. He apologizes for the shock, adding that such powers are difficult to explain to those who don't believe in them. Our hero shivers, a chill running down his spine as he wonders if this really is another world. The boy's glare intensifies at the MC, but the king mentions that sometimes showing is the quickest way to make people understand. Just then, another boy calls out to the boy by his name, Saiki, and urges him to be cautious. He points out that they are surrounded by heavily armed guards, and this is not the best situation to pick a fight with the king, since none of them truly understand what is happening. He suggests they at least hear the king out. The two girls who are with him agree, and one of them, frustrated by Saiki's outburst, tells him to just be quiet for a moment. Saiki, realizing there is nothing he can do in this situation, and feeling utterly helpless, swallows his anger and frustration, though his expression still shows how much he is struggling with it. The king tells them to stay calm and relax, reassuring them that they have no intention of killing anyone. He explains that summoning people with powers of this magnitude is no small feat, and they are not about to murder the very heroes they worked so hard to bring here. Saiki, still a bit confused, speaks up, telling the king that they are just high school students, nothing special. The king then explains that upon being summoned, each of them has been granted extraordinary powers and an occupation. Those with the occupation of hero are particularly gifted, and their abilities are far beyond what they might expect. A woman standing nearby adds that if they simply say the word status, they will be able to see their abilities for themselves. Saiki follows her advice, and immediately, his profile appears. It shows his full name as Saiki Kenta. His level is 1, and his occupation is listed as Sage. His magic technique is Flaming Hammer, and there are a few other stats listed as well. The woman takes a look at his profile and smiles, telling the king that the amazing news is that this boy is a sage. The king adds that being a sage is considered one of the top-class occupations, typically held by knights with the attributes of priests. The woman, still amazed, mentions that there is another fantastic news to make. She looks at another student's profile and turns to tell Ichijo Yukimura that his status is even more unbelievable. He is a hero with a magic technique called Explosion. Our hero, who has been quietly watching all of this, feels his nerves rising. He finds it insane that his classmates, who were already happy with their lives, are now being granted such extraordinary abilities. He wonders if he might have something good as well, so he checks his own profile. To his surprise, his occupation is listed as healer, and his magic technique is simply to heal. At first, he thinks that this might be a blessing, something that could help others, and he asks the woman more about the healer class. But as soon as she hears him, her smile fades, and she explains that healers are considered a recovery class, meant to heal others, but they are also regarded as the weakest occupation. The MC's heart sinks a little as he realizes that while his classmates have been given powerful abilities, his own role might not be as impressive as he had hoped. Saiki takes the opportunity and steps closer to our boy, mocking him. He calls him the weakest and questions why he is even here in the first place. Kawauchi, noticing Saiki's behavior, calls out to him, warning that he is doing it again. But Saiki dismisses it casually, saying that all jokes aside, there is really no reason for them to need the MC around. Ichijo steps forward and confronts Saiki, telling him that this time he has gone too far and is being unnecessarily rude to our hero. Saiki doesn't back down. Instead, he asks Ichijo if he has anything to say to him. Just then, an older man approaches our boy, looking at his status and noticing that it says Reincarnated, while everyone else's status doesn't. The old man asks why that is. All eyes turn to our hero, who, feeling the weight of their gazes, replies that it's because he jumped off a roof. The old man, after hearing him, seems to understand the situation. Meanwhile, the MC continues to zone out, feeling stuck in the same daily cycle. He did not want to keep living, so he had stopped living in his heart, but somehow he finds himself trapped in this routine. Saiki continues to bully him, calling him a healer and mocking him for being of no real use. He tries to lower our boy's self-esteem, saying nobody expects much from a suicidal dirtbag like him. And the cruelty that Saiki shows doesn't stop, even in this new world. But then something shifts within our hero. He gathers what little courage he has left and asks Saiki if it's really that much fun for him to keep mocking him. Saiki freezes, surprised by the sudden defiance, and pulls the MC's tie as he asks what he just said. Our boy, standing his ground, replies that it doesn't matter and that Saiki makes him sick. He firmly declares that he is not going anywhere. The woman pauses for a moment upon MC's declaration, then reveals that from the moment she discovered our hero was a healer, she planned to transport him to a different location, separated from the others. The other students look at her, curious about what she means by someplace else. The woman explains that the new location will be random, and they won't have any way of predicting where it will be. She says this system is designed as a security measure to ensure that they always have someone capable of helping them in case of emergency. The MC, still processing everything, thanks her for the security system, but the woman corrects him, saying that he is misunderstanding. The system, she explains, is meant to ensure that they are always helped, not him. She then starts shouting that the system is a powerful magical tool designed to save the lives and futures of their people. They have used it to summon great and powerful beings, and yet it has brought them only him, a mere healer. Her words hit our boy hard. The woman asks how they can explain this failure to the very people who are relying on them for their safety. Our hero stands motionless, struck by the harshness of her words. Saiki, sensing an opportunity, leans in and whispers to our boy that he is nothing more than trash, taking full advantage of the moment. The MC's thoughts erupt in a storm of anger and confusion, wondering why he is always the one who is picked on. He feels consumed by rage, swearing that he will destroy them all. He will bring down the entire country, turn everything to ash, and leave nothing behind, not even dust. He vows, in that moment, that he will kill every single one of them and there will be no mercy. Our boy slowly walks in the darkness, his mind clouded with confusion. He has completely lost track of time and has no idea where he is. He looks around, but everything feels strange and unfamiliar. In an attempt to understand his situation, he checks his status. As he reads it, he realizes that he is the weakest. His strength is barely noticeable. Then, his eyes land on another part of his status: Otherworld Obsession Syndrome. It is a condition that affects those who have longed for another world for too long. The realization hits him like a wave. He is not just lost. He is sick. Our boy stands frozen, his eyes locked on the 3 treasure boxes in front of him. He is not sure how long he has been wandering through this maze. All he knows is that after what feels like an endless journey, the only thing he has managed to find is a single torch. And now somehow he finds himself standing in this dimly lit room, surrounded by the boxes. He hesitates for a moment, unsure of what to do, then opens the first one. To his disappointment, it's completely empty. He then decides to open all the boxes, hoping to find something more useful. When he opens the second box, he sees a small, strange bottle inside. He picks it up carefully, wondering what it could be. His first thought is that it might be poison. But as he inspects it, it doesn't seem like that at all. Just as he is examining the bottle, a voice suddenly fills the air, as if coming from nowhere. He turns quickly, searching the room, but there is no one in sight. The voice presses on, suggesting that, since he desires power, he needs to drink it, and insists that he drink every last drop. Our hero's mind swirls with confusion. The word power echoes in his mind, vague and unclear. He considers the possibility that he might be imagining this, yet a part of him cannot shake the feeling that it might be real. Drinking this strange potion could actually grant him the strength he has always lacked. Memories of his desire for a second chance resurface, for a different life, maybe even a new world. This moment feels like that long-awaited chance, even if it's a gamble he barely understands. After a moment of reflection, he realizes that his life feels almost doomed anyway. With nothing left to lose, he accepts the risk. Dying here seems inevitable, so there is no reason not to take the leap. Deciding it's worth the gamble, he uncorks the bottle, letting go of his doubts, and drinks it. Whatever happens next, he thinks, is already part of his fate, and he is ready to face whatever awaits him. At the Kingdom of Greyberg, in the Grand National Academy Ares Greyberg, within the student dormitory, a group of students are gathered. One of them compliments Ares, admiring her beauty. Kawauchi, however, cannot help but notice something more about her. She comments on the dangerous aura that surrounds Ares and then turns to Saiki, suggesting that he must have noticed it as well in recent times. However, Saiki responds that there is no rose without a thorn. Kawauchi asks what he means by that. She warns him to be careful because once you fall too deeply into something, there is no saving yourself. But Saiki jokes that maybe she is referring to the MC. Just then, Ichijo, who has been listening to their conversation, steps in and asks Saiki if he truly thinks that it is a funny story. Saiki, a bit confused, looks at him and asks which story he is talking about. Ichijo tells Saiki to stop pretending like he doesn't know exactly what they are talking about. They are clearly discussing Hidaka. Saiki, now annoyed, snaps back, questioning how soft Ichijo can be. He tells him to stop talking about it because he is starting to get irritated with the whole situation. At that moment, Kawauchi turns her attention to another boy, Kida, who has been standing silently by the side. She confronts him, questioning why he is just standing there without saying anything. Kawauchi accuses him of always following Saiki and joining him in bullying the MC. Kida denies it, insisting that he doesn't bully anyone. However, before he can explain further, Saiki interrupts. He tells Kawauchi to stop pressuring Kida, stating that everything is already done and over with. He coldly adds that the MC will never come back, no matter how much she wants them to take responsibility for what happened. In fact, he adds, there is no hope left for him. He is probably dead by now. Meanwhile, our boy lies on the cold ground, slowly regaining consciousness. His head is pounding, and the last thing he remembers is the excruciating pain. He wonders if he fainted, but after a moment of quiet, he realizes that although the pain was intense, he doesn't feel any different. He blinks, his vision blurry at first, but soon enough it starts to clear up, and he realizes it must have been the potion he drank that helped him recover. And he can't help but feel a little disappointed. He had passed out from something so minor. He gets up as he clears his thoughts and notices the remaining box, one he still had not opened. He approaches it, though he doesn't expect anything of value. Still, curiosity gets the better of him. He lifts the lid, and suddenly, a massive tongue shoots out from inside the box, wrapping around his arm and biting down hard. The pain is instant and sharp, and he cries out. But before he can react, the monster hidden inside the box moves, its legs emerging from beneath the box, and it begins to rise. In panic and desperation, our hero starts running as fast as he can. The monster retreats back into the box, and the lid slams shut with a loud thud. After running for his life, the MC collapses to the ground, healing his injured arm and cursing. He cannot believe it had to be a mimic. His class is weak, he is not equipped to handle such a powerful foe. With a sigh, he realizes that the only thing he can do now is heal. But even then, he doubts whether it will be enough to make him strong enough to face a creature like that. As he tends to his wound, his thoughts are interrupted when he notices a strange notification on his profile. It's about a unique skill, something called the Goddess's Divine Protection, and the God of Revenge's Mischief with an advanced level ability named Mischievous Reversal. The description says he gained this skill from drinking the God of Revenge's secret potion. He begins reading it carefully, realizing that the potion granted him a powerful ability he can reverse effects. For instance, any positive status he applies can be turned negative, and life effects can even be reversed into death. A little unsure of what to do with this information, our boy decides to try using the healing magic on his arm first. But suddenly, a voice announces the activation of the God of Revenge's Mischief and the Mischievous Reversal ability. To his surprise, his healing spell Heal is reversed, turning into a new and unsettling magic called Waves of Erosion. Our hero freezes, taken aback. The voice is coming from nowhere, and the sudden change is both confusing and alarming. The system continues to explain that Waves of Erosion creates waves that emanate from the user as the center point, spreading outward in a spherical pattern. These waves drain the life force from anything they touch. The area these waves can cover depends on the user's own magical power, so this means the healing magic Heal is transformed into something far more dangerous, something capable of destruction. Despite the confusion about the ability, the MC returns to the room with the treasure box. He knows if he doesn't open it, he will be safe, but his thirst for revenge drives him. With shaking hands, he reaches for the box again, bracing himself for whatever might come. This time, he is not running. he is ready to fight back. With a quiet plea for the monster to just die, he opens the box and unleashes waves of erosion. The destructive magic began to spread. The box creaks open, and suddenly, the monster's tongue darts out. But before anything else happens, a blast erupts. Our hero nervously laughs, admitting that he only just reversed the trap, but the power behind it is still unbelievable. He cannot help but shout out in excitement, claiming that he has won. Almost instantly, a system message appears, stating that the goddess divine protection has been activated, and it prompts our boy to choose his rewards. The MC looks at the system, trying to recall what he knows about the goddess divine protection. He is pretty sure there is something about it, but what really surprises him is the fact that he is getting rewards for simply winning. He quickly checks the system again, his eyes scanning for any other surprises. There, he finds a couple of new skills. The first one is camouflage, an ability that allows him to change his appearance however he likes, which sounds really useful. The second is a skill called a precious chest, and it seems even more interesting. This chest can store an unlimited amount of goods and has an infinite space, and right now it holds recovery medicine, a liquid that can help him heal. Our boy thinks camouflage could come in handy, but for the moment he feels that the precious chest might be the more practical option. He also notes that the monster locked inside this box is definitely hiding a lot of valuable items. The system then informs him that he has successfully defeated the Mimic, a monster at level 500, and he has gained enough experience to level up. Our hero is stunned, staring at the system's message. He cannot believe he just took down a monster of that level, and he wonders if it really was that powerful after all. As if on cue, the system announces that he has leveled up several times, and the MC starts to wonder if these constant notifications will keep coming every time he levels up. The next announcement from the system catches him off guard. It tells him that his magic technique Heal has gained enough experience to level up. Our boy is taken aback because he did not even realize magic skills could level up, but apparently they can. The system confirms that his healing skill has now reached its maximum level, and as if that is not enough, it follows up by saying that he has also received healing waves, which has been enhanced all the way to its maximum level. But the surprises do not stop there. Another notification pops up, saying that he has gained Cure Abnormal status, which also maxes out right away. Then, to his surprise, a final system announcement informs him that he has gained Attribute Enhancement, which too has reached its max level. And the notifications just keep coming, one after another, each more surprising than the last. Our hero notices his stats climbing at an impressive rate. However, he feels uneasy, uncertain if his newfound power really holds up. He doesn't know much about this world's standards, so he cannot tell if his level makes him strong or not. The thought of his classmates crosses his mind, making him wonder if they might even be stronger than him. Brushing off his doubts, he decides the only thing he can do now is keep moving forward. The MC now stands before a massive gate, towering over him with an almost sinister presence. Staring up at it, he cannot help but feel uneasy. It is as though the gate itself is warning him of something dark beyond. He tries to push the gate open, but it doesn't move. He frowns, wondering how he's supposed to get inside. Then an idea strikes him. He calls upon his ability, Waves of Erosion, and with a surge of power, a huge hole forms in the center of the gate, crumbling as if touched by an invisible force. Amazed, he realizes he did not even need to lay a finger on it. His power worked from a distance. Stepping through the opening, he enters a vast room. Floating in the center of the space, he sees a staff suspended mid-air, waiting to be claimed. It's just like something out of a fantasy game. His heart races with excitement. He has been hoping for loot like this. But as he steps closer, the ground starts to shake. The ceiling above cracks, and a large piece crashes down in front of him. From the dust and rubble, a towering knight appears, adorned with massive armor. Our hero's excitement turns to dread as he realizes that the staff has a guardian. The knight raises his sword and swings it down with terrifying speed. Our boy jumps aside just in time, the blade missing him by a hair. His physical resistance may be stronger after leveling up, but he knows a direct hit could still be dangerous. Just in case, he enhances his defense, unsure what would happen if he actually took a hit. As he regains his footing, he notices the knight's sword is stuck in the ground. Seizing the moment, he unleashes his power waves of erosion again, slicing through the knight's legs and bringing it to its knees. Relieved, he thinks it was easier than he had anticipated. Just as he begins to relax, though, a sudden blow sends him flying into the wall. He coughs up blood, stunned and confused. He didn't even see the attack coming. Luckily, his enhanced defense softened the impact. Healing himself, he realizes he might have let his new power make him overconfident. He is a healer, but he is frustrated there has to be something more he can do. Determined not to make the same mistake twice, he decides to go all out. Once again, he calls upon his waves of erosion. The burning energy surges forward, engulfing the knight, and in the blink of an eye, it's over. The system announces that the MC has received the rare skill Mimic's Life, a unique power possessed only by high-level mimics, allowing one to alter the information shown on their status screen at will. Alongside it, he is awarded the high-grade Knight's Great Sword and Shield, both items from a powerful knight. Examining the details, he realizes that this Guardian Knight was also a mimic. The system then declares that he has conquered the mimic giant armor level 400, and leveled up once more. He checks his new level -212. The odd number catches his attention, but what stands out more is that his magic skills still remain at level 5, no matter how high his overall level climbs. He recalls Ares' words, calling him the weakest. Now, he feels it for himself. He then reaches out and takes the staff, and the system confirms he has acquired the magic tool, the Wrath of Sins. The description explains it's a staff that contains intermediate holy magic of the holy light element. Our boy holds it in his hand, thinking it could prove useful someday, and without looking back, he moves on. At Ares Greyberg Academy, in maneuvering area No. 1, Ichijo is down on the ground, gasping for breath. A voice cuts through his heavy breathing, asking if he is all right. He looks up and replies, calling the man master and assuring him that he is fine. The man standing over him is Philip Butler, his instructor and the academy's lecturer. Philip explains that the magic circle exploded because it was unstable, and he reminds Ichijo to stay more focused. Ichijo apologizes for his lack of control. Philip continues, noting that his explosion magic is exceptionally powerful, which makes it challenging for him to control. But he warns that he has to master it, even without relying on magic circles and spells. If he doesn't, he will never be able to stand against demons, which is his duty as the Academy's chosen hero. Ichijo feels the weight of these words but manages a determined nod, assuring Philip that he understands. Nearby, under the shade of a tree, Saki watches this scene closely, sitting with Kita. Seki comments quietly that Philip thinks their magical powers are not strong enough. Kita looks over and asks what he means by that. Saki points out that for people like them, who lack the necessary magical strength, spells are almost useless. He goes on to say that Ichijo, despite being the only one among them with real magic ability, tires out easily and doesn't show much bravery, yet he still calls himself a hero. He adds that there is a big difference between simply being called a hero and actually deserving that title. To him, it seems like their titles are just empty labels. Kita listens to him and replies that there is nothing they can do to change it, no matter how much they might want to. Psyche feels a surge of frustration at their helplessness, but reluctantly agrees with Kita's words. The MC takes a sip from the bottle in his hand as he wanders, feeling the warmth of alcohol slide down his throat. It's his first taste, and he is surprised it's not as bad as he thought it might be. His luck is not all that bad either. He has found a pantry, which means he won't need to worry about food for a while. As he keeps walking, he notices a gate, and something about that stands out. He approaches it, wondering if he should see what is on the other side. After a moment of hesitation, he pushes the gate open and peeks inside, only to hear a voice congratulating him for making it this far. As our boy steps in, he notices a man seated grandly in a massive chair. Addressing him as adventurer, the room is unlike anything our hero has seen before. It feels otherworldly, with a strange aura that makes it clear he is no longer in familiar territory. The man turns to a flying creature beside him, calling it Zuri, and asks it how many years have passed since the last adventurer entered his domain. Zuri responds, saying it has been 150 years. The man seems mildly astonished, muttering to himself about how he has really been here that long. He then rises from his chair and declares that tonight calls for a celebration. Introducing himself as Sean, the King of Snakes, he says it's time for their deadly battle to begin. Without warning, Sean's sword flashes, and before the MC realizes it, the blade has plunged deep into his belly, cutting straight through him. Our boy stands there, stunned, unable to process when or how he managed to strike him so quickly. Sean laughs, withdrawing the sword slowly, seeming to relish the moment, and sneers at the MC, disappointed that he has waited a century and a half just to face an adventurer like this. Our hero, now struggling to breathe, falls to his knees, his hands pressed to the wound as he begins to heal himself. Sean keeps talking about how low the quality of adventurers has dropped, but then he notices the MC's healing abilities and pauses, speculating if he might be a priest. Maybe that is why he could not track his movements. But Zuri speaks up, clarifying that our boy is not a priest, but rather he is a healer. Sean then wonders how a mere healer could have made it this far to such a dangerous place, all alone. Zuri, who has been observing our hero closely, adds that there is something strange about him, something that sets him apart from other adventurers. Taking advantage of the distraction, the MC gathers his strength and summons his holy light power. In a swift move, he strikes Zuri, killing the creature instantly. Sean cries out in shock, mourning the loss of his companion. Meanwhile, our boy quickly opens his system, activating Goddess's divine protection. As the system responds, it prompts him to choose a reward, offering him a choice of spoils. Subscribe to the channel to find out which spoil the main character chooses, and what happens next in part 2.